the University of Tartu System Administration video lecture about final exam. My name is Alobet and I will be your instructor today. In this video we will give overview of System Administration course exam objectives, process, grading, how to prepare for the exam and general recommendations, how to complete the course. As you know, all course information can be accessed in the course's webpage. So I have opened in my web browser the courses page of System Administration course. In the general introduction page you see the lab times and general course information. The idea behind the course is give you introduction to the Linux and common services in Linux environment. The course is good preparation for Linux Professional Institute certifications. I am Linux Professional Institute certified 3rd level, and I can tell you that knowledge learned in this course is a very good preparation to pass different Linux Professional Institute certifications. So let's have a look of what they are actually asking from the first level Linux certifications. In the first exam they ask about Linux operating system, architecture, how to install, how to manage packages, command line and general knowledge about Linux operating system. In the second exam about what is a Linux shell, basically command line, how to script there, how to manage data, different interfaces and desktops, how to complete administrative tasks, essential system services, networking and of course security. In the second level, Linux engineer, they ask about capacity planning, Linux kernel, system startup, file system and devices, how they are managed. Advanced storage device administration, basically logical volume management and write systems. Network configuration, how to get IPs and stuff, and system maintenance. And in the LPIC2 second exam, this exam is very heavily the topics that we cover in this system administration course. For example, domain name server, which we don't cover in depth, but all the knowledge from this course can help you answer these questions in that topic also. Web services, more precisely Apache, file services, Samba, network file services, cloud services, network client management, email services, postfix, TabCut, and system security, SSL certifications, DLS. The third level is a little bit more advanced, and even though we cover bits and pieces from each of the 3 possible exams, actually this course is not enough to pass level 3 Linux Professional Institute certifications, but we try to give you the base knowledge to complete first 2 exams from the Linux Professional Institute. So let's go back to the courses page and have a review of the labs we have prepared for you. As you know, this course is goal-oriented through practical labs. We have prepared for you 12 mandatory labs that you should complete before coming to the exam. First 2 labs you'll do in your own VirtualBox. Then we move to the ETA's private cloud system, where you'll set up your Linux server and configure each of the services there. Through that process we expect you to fill in the gaps in your previous knowledge about Linux and learn new knowledge how to manage, set up and configure each of those services. You are expected to complete all the labs before coming to the exam. The practical session or the practical topics will be updated slightly in the next week, so After that, you'll still have 2 weeks to prepare before coming to the exams, which are planned to be held last 2 weeks of May. So let's move to the exam objectives. There is a special page about exam in the course's webpage. First of all, I would like to point out that we have 14 exam times in total. They all are also marked in the list where you are expected to register for the exams. Please pay attention to the groups, annotations and extra remarks in the list. You are expected to come during your official lab time to the exams, meaning the exams are held during the lab times of the last 2 weeks of May. For the E-groups who doesn't have dedicated lab times, we have created 2 extra exam times and you are expected to choose one of them. If for some reason you cannot participate in the designated time slot, please write to the course instructors and we try to negotiate you free spaces in another group exam times. Exam times are also marked clearly in this exam page. So as you see, the first exam will be held on 21st of May, 6 p.m. at the evening. You will have exactly 2 hours to do the exam. So please come about 10 minutes before your exam starts to set up your system and work environment. You only have to register for the first examination attempt. You will be given in total 2 exam attempts and your final grade will be best of 2 attempts. What does it mean register only for the first exam? In OIS, the registration for the exam is only allowed for the first attempt. The second attempt is not mandatory, meaning you don't have to show up. And vice versa, if you don't show up in the first one, you can always come to the second one. But please pay attention to the fact that you still have to register for the first exam attempt, so we do know to book a seating for you. No registration for the second attempt means we will be using the list from the first examination attempt. The exams will be held physically in Johan Levy 2 building, mostly in the class 1, 2, 3, where we have had all the labs of this semester. Please pay attention to the fact that some of the exams are held also in the lab 205, because classroom 1, 2, 3 is occupied for some of the examination times. You will be given exactly 2 hours from the start. We try to start exactly at full hour, meaning 6 o'clock exam starts 18:00. 10 o'clock exam starts 10 o'clock exactly. What materials or help are you allowed to use in the exam? Indirect help is allowed in the exam, meaning you can use Google, you can use any of your physical or digital notes, lab machine, and so on. We do not allow direct communication with a physical person or a virtual friend online. For example, any Skype, Facebook, email sent to direct person outside of the exam room is considered immediate failure and you will be asked to leave the classroom and get a failure marked in your study information system. How is the exam built up? The exam is basically disaster recovery scenario. We will try to prepare you for the scenario where in the real world some system would fail eventually and you have limited time to get it back and running. We will be giving you virtual disk image, which is basically a slightly modified version of the similar system you set up during the labs in the System Administration course. VDI file means this is only the hard disk files. You don't have the virtual machine description, meaning you either have to create it manually in VirtualBox or a similar virtualization software. Please pay attention to the fact that we will be using 64-bit Debian 9 machines this year, and your machine should be capable of running 64-bit virtual machines. Why I say your machine is that we expect you to run this VDI file in your own personal computer during the exam. Classroom machines are present and available if for some reason you prefer to use classroom machine instead of your personal machine. We do recommend, nevertheless, to use your personal machines because we expect you to have a full control over your own system and know how it's set up and all the different specifics of your environment. One of the things you should note about the exam is that we do ask you to breach your network, meaning please know what breaching your virtual machine network means and how to set up in your preferred virtualization environment. We will do basically a domain migration and an IP network migration, meaning you will have a new subdomain for the exam and new IP different from what you used in the labs. Please pay attention to the fact that you will not know any of the passwords, meaning the previous administration unfortunately is not available and he was the person who set up the system. So you are expected to know how to reset the passwords with or without the data loss. You must be capable of getting access to the unencrypted system. In the exam the system is not encrypted, meaning you don't have to crack anything but just reset the passwords. That is common action as a system administrator. You must decide yourself how many processors do you give to your virtual machine in the exam, how much memory, virtualization support is needed for 64-bit machines, and do you need USB or network. In the exam we expect you to get all of the services that we configured in the lab running also, meaning DNS is the most important for accessing the internet and your machine to be discoverable in the network. Next we recommend setting up mail delivery, but only inside your own domain because other domains are unavailable during the exam. Also, we really would like you to set up Apache and some of the subsites of it. The exact list will be published just before the exam. For an A grade, we give a different or new topics. So let's look closer at the grading. In order to pass, you basically have to get DNS up and running. Why DNS is the fact that without DNS your machine cannot access successfully network, and basically you're not capable of calling for help or escalating the problems. So this is the minimal viable point where you should reach. If you cannot do it in 2 hours or you encounter some errors, unfortunately you will be marked as an F for that attempt. But don't worry, you will have 2 attempts and your final grade will be best of 2, as we have discussed already. So in order to get a better grade, C or B, we expect you to get at least one of the services running. For C, Mail or Apache. For the B, both of those services. What means running? Meanings in your own personal machine, you can show us that Thunderbird can receive and send email, or Apache server is fully running and serving clients. For example, RoundCube page can be logged in and you can send and receive email, or a Nextcloud service can host files. Security is important, meaning you are expected to have TLS working with all the certificates that comes with it. We do not say the exact list of actions that's needed for the A grade. So basically, if you complete everything for the B grade, DNS, mail, Apache, you raise your hand during the exam and we come and give you the specific tasks for the A grade. So each student will have a different and independent task for getting the A grade. So how should you prepare for the exam? First of all, we really require and recommend you to complete all of the labs. We do check randomly if the labs are completed, and it is a prerequisite to have your grade marked in this as a final grade. Nevertheless, we do expect you to know if your services is running, if your service is configured correctly or not. So during the semester, you're free to ask feedback from us, but we don't particularly send you the emails that something is working or something is not working. And if in doubt, you can ask us feedback for your process in May, 2 weeks before the exam. So how do we see the exam process? First of all, we expect you to come about 10 minutes before the exam. Then set up your system, your personal laptop, connect it to the network, check you have internet connectivity, and set up a second display. You will have a second display with VGA connectivity available in all of the examination times, meaning you are expected to use 2 screens because you can be more efficient on 2 screens probably, because you don't have to switch your windows and you can display more useful information at the same time. So first things first, you should know how to create the new virtual machines, how to import it to your VirtualBox, or how to launch it depending which virtualization software you use. And if you have the machine running, first of all you should have root access to it. In many cases it means you have to basically configure the bootloader, overwrite the admin password, and then you can actually start configuring the machine. Fix the hostname, update it to the one we display just before the exam on the whiteboard. Then try to get your network working, test if your network is actually working with the command specified in this page or during the labs. Then check the content of etc resolve conf if you can use the world internet or the local internet. Probably that would fail, and then you should start configuring your own DNS server and all the configuration files that comes with it. If you have the DNS running, basically locally you can resolve DNS names, and externally others can use your DNS server to resolve your DNS names. For example, mail.yourdomain.est, then your DNS server is considered okay, and you can move on to the mail part. In mail, we expect you to send and receive emails in your local domains, meaning any of the users you have set up can send and receive email, but not just in the virtual machine, but also from external clients. The external clients we used in the labs and we recommend to configure is Thunderbird. Thunderbird is expected to be set up in your own personal machine. That means you have to fix or teach your personal machine of your DNS server and your domain server specifics. You can check with links if your web server is running or not, and some of these things served locally. But in order to pass the exam for a B grade or even C, if you're doing mail first, you actually have to show us a working web server from your personal machine once again. The idea is that it's not enough just to get the service running, but you need to show and prove us that your clients are capable of using the services you have configured during the exam. So here are a few of the commands: namecheckconf, namecheckzone, postconf-n, tauconf-n, Apache CTL, that might give you hints of what configuration you have. We have only a short list of configuration. We have only a short list of log files listed here in the exam recommendations in the course's webpage, but we really recommend you to create your own list of every single log file that we touched during the labs, that you know where to see what the error is, and then you know how to fix it. In 2017 we had about 100 students, and out of the 100 students, about 13 got final grade as an A, excellent. 14 students got grade B, very good. About 18 students got the grade C, 25 D. Nobody wants system administrators with a poor knowledge to administer their production servers, therefore we don't give out any E's. There were only 3 F's failures out of students who took the exam, so in our mind the failure rate is actually really small. We had about 14 students who did not show up for the exam, and in reality they just did not complete the labs and already dropped out the course during the semester. Good system administrator must be capable of showing their skills in time-constrained environments and be prepared for different disaster scenarios. So, I hope this video helps you to prepare better for the exam and really train for the exam, so you will be prepared and efficient in the exam, where time is your biggest enemy. Thank you for watching and good luck in the exam.